Hello, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on which side of the 5 o'clock you fall with that. Welcome to the Beaver Dam Unified School District 2025 Wall of Fame Awards ceremony. My name is Craig Warmbold. I am honored to serve as your MC again today. I've had the privilege of doing this many years out of the past 20 or so, since 2007. It's something I look forward to every year. In fact, I'm surprised anytime they invite me back. I've been connected to the school district in a variety of capacities over the years. Personally, my kids both went through the Beaver Dam school system, so I've seen firsthand the positive impact the district has had on students, on families, and on the community. Personally, I spent years covering the school board, school-related matters. That gave me a front row seat to the very people who are keeping things moving, people who are in this room today. Positive impact doesn't happen by accident. Positive impact comes from people who step up, often behind the scenes, and give their time and their energy to a community. I'm talking about the good people who work in the Beaver Dam School District, and I'm also talking about the good people who serve on the Beaver Dam School Board. The work of the school board in particular helps shape not just policy, but the day-to-day experience that teachers, students, and families experience across the district. We have several current members of the Beaver Dam School Board with us here today. If you are here, please stand and be recognized as I call your name. Isaac Dornfeld. Not yet, Marge. Marge Jorgensen. Mary Coons. Excuse me, Mary. I don't think Isaac got a round of applause, did he? Just looking out for you, Isaac. Heather Scholes. Is Heather here? Lisa Panzer. And our newest member of the Beaver Dam School Board, Emily Shire. We also have someone with us tonight who spent many, many years serving on the Beaver Dam School Board, Gary Spielman, who will be recognized as a friend of education later in the program. I spent many hours in the same meeting rooms with Gary, and I can tell you, no matter how long the meeting ran, he was always steady, thoughtful, and ready to keep things moving, even when the rest of us were looking at the clock. Another friend of education being recognized today is the Beaver Dam Area Community Theater. The theater's long list of productions and volunteers serves as a great example of the broader role that BDACT has played in enriching the community over the years. The Beaver Dam Area Community Theater provides opportunities for people to get involved, to connect, and to be part of something bigger. And if you've ever been involved, you know how the organized chaos always comes together right on time, usually. And this year's outstanding alumni is none other than Russ Kotke. I covered Russ as a news reporter when he served as chairman of the Dodge County Board for a decade or more. I think it was 18 years, if I'm not mistaken. A leader in both agriculture and local government, he has long understood that strong communities are built through local leadership and public service. Russ Kotke will be joining the ranks of several other outstanding alumni, going back to the Wall of Fame's first ever inductee, film legend Fred McMurray, a 1925 graduate of the Beaver Dam High School. Fred was someone who really looked up to Russ. Both Russ and Gary set the bar high in their respective roles and were particularly welcoming to me from day one, which is especially noteworthy considering that I'm a flatlander. The community theater also very welcoming to people from all walks of life and even Illinois. It is only fitting that the Wall of Fame recognizes all of their efforts alongside the great work of so many other alumni and friends of education from throughout the years. It is contributions like these that bring us to the people who have helped shape this community over time. I would like to take a moment to welcome past Wall of Fame honorees who are with us today. If you're here this afternoon, please stand and be recognized as I call your name. Sorry, Marge. Bev Bealake. Dr. Alan Earhart. Jim Flynn. Tom Heffron. From the local Alpha Xi chapter of the Delta Kappa Gamma Society, Barb Link. Barb. Local historian Roger Knoll. Annette Camps couldn't make it here today, but I know she's with us here in spirit. If I missed anyone, please stand so that we could recognize you. All right, looks like I got everyone. Thank you all, alumni and friends, for your contributions to this community. Tonight is about recognizing the impact that people and organizations like these have on a community and its schools. Now we'll begin this year's Friend of Education presentations. Please join me in welcoming the presenters for this year's Friend of Education Award, Marge Jorgensen and Bev Bealake.
Good evening. It's nice to see all your smiling faces, although I have to say, I'm usually not on this side with the light shining in my eyes, so there's a little shadow, but you all look really great. Appreciate you coming, having been in this spot before. I'm thinking Gary's feeling a little bit how I felt. I don't want to be up here. But you deserve to be up here, Gary. Gary already had been on the board when I came on the board, and I think if Gary had had an opportunity, but I think Gary was destined to follow in the family business. Don't quote me on that. His family knows that better than I do. But I think he would have been an educator. He was a very great board member to mentor me in my first few years. Actually, he probably still mentored me in my last few years. But just as Craig alluded to, just always very steady, always listening. And when he had things to say, you listened to him. Like I said, he might have been a teacher himself, but the family business called. He did have a couple of sons who decided education was going to be their field, and I'm pretty sure they're both very successful in their field. I know Gary spends a lot of time attending not only board meetings, but sports, and that's one way, sports and other activities, plays, and other co-curriculars, and that's a great way to get to know other students. Of course, we all do that when our children are in high school, but I think Gary has shown that he does it whether his kids are in high school or not, and now he's got another generation of kids to follow in his grandchildren. His tenure while serving on the school board, Mary or Mark can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's one of the longest, if not the longest. 33 years is a lot of time to commit to going to board meetings, committee meetings, reading all the material that you get so that you're prepared for those meetings, along with the rest of your life that's happening. That is a huge amount of time to give. And I think what makes Gary stand out even more is Bob Newman and I were on the same 3-year cycle. And there was an election year where Bob and Gary lost, and I was the one who won. For most people, that would be it. Okay, he'd already had many years on, the end of my board career. But I don't know for sure, Gary, if it was a year or two later, there was an opportunity, and Gary was encouraged, and he ran again, and he won. So I think I can claim longer years continuously than Gary, but not most years, just because of that 1 or 2 year break. And it didn't stop him from staying involved. No, he maybe didn't show up at the meetings, but he followed the meetings and paid attention and still was out and about and talked to people. To me, that just tells you the determination and the dedication he has for education and the students of our community. And because Marge and I were both nominators, unbeknownst to one another, and we wrote very similar things, I'm going to let her round this all out with her intel.
Bev's right. We both had the same idea when it came to nominating somebody for Friends of Education. Gary, it just made sense. So we followed through and did it, and here he is, and here both of us are. So, you know, Gary kind of dedicates decades, he's had decades of quiet leadership. He's never been real loud and kind of bossy like some people say I am. But anyway, he's had this quiet leadership, and he's volunteered for over 10 years, I know, doing different work with students in the classroom. And he has, as well as in the boardroom, he's been a help and an example for future educators on what to do, how to highlight things, and the impact that it has on the school district, on the kids that he works with, and actually the whole community. So after Bev and I realized that we both had nominated Gary, we said it was the right thing to do. So thank you, Gary.
Congrats, Gary.
That's your cue. Gary, on behalf of the Wall of Fame Committee and the Beaver Dam Unified School District, it's my honor to present you with this year's Friend of Education Award. And I think you heard from Bev and Marge all the different examples of why Gary is a friend of education and why he should be recognized. But I just want to emphasize how good of a friend you've been, and how direct you are, and how honest you are. And you really are a champion for our kids and our community, and we need that, and we thank you. So this is an honor for us to give this to you, and we hope that you'll accept it gladly.
Thank you. Thank you. My involvement with the school district started about 40 years ago when Dick Fitzpatrick asked me to be on the high school scholarship committee, which I did for about 10 years. About 5 years into that, there was an opening on the board when Ellen Proctor was retiring. So I put my name in, and there were 5 candidates at the time, and I was fortunate to be elected. In the 30 years that followed, I worked with 6 different superintendents, and we've had some very good superintendents, and we'd have a couple outstanding superintendents. Mark. I worked with numerous school board members and lots of teachers and administrators. And the reason I believe Beaver Dam is such a good school district is that the board, the teachers, administration all work together for a common goal and doing what's right for students, what's good for students. And I think that's been shown by the support we've received from the community in passing the referendums, especially the most recent one on building a much-needed new middle school. However, my most exciting or whatever part of education started 10 years ago when I was asked, and maybe I should say pressured, into volunteering to be a volunteer in the classroom. And I was asked, why don't you volunteer? Well, I had recently retired, and I said, okay, I'll do 1 day a week for 1 hour, no more than that. And if you could find a teacher who'll accept me. Well, not many teachers wanted a school board member in their classroom. But Lori Schweiger, get choked up here. Lori Schweiger accepted me, and for 10 years I've been with her. My 1 day a week for 1 hour turned into 2 days, 3 days, and now sometimes I go 4 days a week whenever I'm available. Lori is just an amazing teacher. She's so good with the young kids, and she's also good with the old senior citizens. She's taught me a lot. It's interesting for me when beginning of the school year, when kids come to school for the very first day, many of them have never been in a classroom before. Some of them have never been away from their mother before. And to watch them as they grow. Some of them, when they get there, they can't write, can't write their own names, they can't count, they don't know what the alphabet is. But to watch them grow during the year is just amazing. Working with 4- and 5-year-olds is both entertaining and interesting. They're honest, and they say anything, and they say everything, and some of the things you don't want to hear. They're also very giving, and in fact, this past year, one gave me the pink eye virus, so I was out for a few days. But for me, it's just been so exciting and very rewarding to be able to work with the students and be part of their lives. And I thank Lori for the past 10 years. And all the teachers and staff at Prairie View. Hopefully I can be back for a couple more years. And I thank my wife and our 2 sons who are both administrators in different districts. Education is very important to our family, and I thank the grandkids for showing up tonight. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much, Gary. Certainly an inspiration to consider giving some of your time to help that next generation in their classrooms. We now move on to our next friend of education. I personally had an opportunity to serve several years on the Beaver Dam Area Community Theater's Board of Directors, and I just cherish the time I had to work both on the stage and behind the scenes of some great productions. There was Annette Camp's remarkable Roots and Wings series. I did several radio plays, main stage productions that I'll never forget, like Next to Normal and Spitfire Grill. Had the opportunity just last year to have a very small connection with one of their recent productions called Four Glasses, which was directed by one of the gentlemen who will be on the stage here in just a moment. In that particular case, it was an unflinching play that took on some pretty heavy themes and gave this community a chance to come together, to reflect and to have meaningful conversations, which at best is exactly what community theater is meant to do. Finally, the theater is especially meaningful to me and my family. My kids spent countless hours with the Beaver Dam Area Community Theater's Tell a Tale youth troupe, building friendships, learning new things, and having experiences that still hold great value to them to this day, to both them and my family. All of those experiences had a profound impact on my life personally. I witnessed the impact that art form has had on our community. I've seen just firsthand just how much work goes into making it all look effortless. With that in mind, please welcome to the stage, and welcome here on the stage. We've got Business Manager David Sneeder. We also want to welcome down the chair of the Performing Arts Education Committee at the Beaver Dam Area Community Theater, Enda Braden.
Enda's prepared some marks, but I just wanted to say a couple of things first. On my way over here today, I was leaving my office at the community theater building, and we had 30, 40 middle schoolers rehearsing on one floor, and close to 50 high schoolers rehearsing for a different show on a different floor. So our building has been very busy with students, and it's just great hearing them run around the building, laughing, having fun, connecting, and learning. I've always loved the slogan here, learning for a lifetime. I always tell the high schoolers that I know that are graduating, like, don't put your instrument away, don't stop singing, don't stop getting up and speaking. We've got opportunities for you. This is where the learning for the lifetime, we help that continue. I know my family has been very blessed with all the things that we've been able to get out of the community theater. And I felt very blessed with the collaboration that we've had with the district with this amazing facility that we have, and then that they came together and supported us with our facility, and many thanks to Jim and Judy Flynn, who helped raise so many funds for that. Another collaborator that we have up there doing sound right now, Greg Richard, just the help that he gives us is amazing. So thank you so much for this award. We so much appreciate it. And then Enda, our chair of our education committee. So.
Thanks, David. Hello. Thank you to the school board members that are here tonight. I know I believe I've seen a few of the BDUSD employees that have taken time to be here. Thank you for that. And to everyone here that doesn't work in education, enjoy your life as a civilian. So as the chair of the, what we call the PAEC, the Performing Arts Education Committee, or you can just call it the Education Committee if you prefer, at Beaver Dam Area Community Theater, I've been asked to be here, and I was told how important it is, and I know how important it is, and you can tell it's important because I wore my best Three Stooges tie. Tonight, because of the gravity of being here, there's no way I would have worn the one that has coffee stains. I have a story that's at first might seem to have nothing to do with BD Act and with our education programs, but it actually has everything to do with our education programs, and you'll see why in a moment. In the 1980s, the Jim Henson organization pegged, they would regularly pick people who they thought had potential as directors, right? And they had a system for giving them opportunities that were kind of low level to see if they could handle it and they could build up and build up. And one gentleman, his first assignment to see if they would give him some of the more important directing jobs was to work with the puppets and direct the puppets that were going to be in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. And this particular year, the Jim Henson part of the parade was like rows and rows and rows of bunnies, puppet bunnies. And they had a couple rehearsals, everything seemed to be going well. And just before all these puppet bunnies entered the parade, they had everyone line up. They were kind of doing their final check. Everybody knows what to do, the choreography. And there was one bunny near the last row that kept leaving the choreography and kind of mugging for an audience that they didn't have yet. They hadn't quite got on the parade route. And this young man who early in his career was set to direct got furious, and he called over the stage manager / assistant director, and he said, 27th row, 4th bunny in, get rid of him. And the stage manager said, are you sure you want to do that? And he said, absolutely, we've got this whole thing set up, and that bunny is breaking from everything we're doing. He's wrecking everything. Get rid of him. And the stage manager said, that bunny in particular, are you sure you want to get rid of that bunny? And now, really losing it, he said, I've never been more sure of anything in my life. Get rid of him. Get him out of here. And so the stage manager called out. He said, 27th row, 4th bunny in. Please stand up and leave. And he stood up, and it was Jim Henson. So what does that have to do with BD Act? You've got two competing instincts, right? The instinct of the director to make sure that everyone is working together as a team in this reality that we're creating is important and necessary. But of equal importance is the instinct that Jim Henson had, that he's like, I want to do something silly and creative, and I want to be outside the box. And what we do at BDUSD in our classes are both of those every day. We are constantly working with students, helping them understand, how do we work together? How do you create this thing together? And how do you listen? Listening is probably the most important and most underrated aspect of performing. Listening not just with your ears, but with your eyes to the people that you're working with all the time. But at the same time, that instinct to work outside the box and to have a venue for enjoying the silliness that life gives us is something that everyone deserves. And we provide students with strategies for doing both of those in a productive way. During the summer, we have opportunities for elementary school students and for middle school students with their Telltale. This is in the program. We also have our area high school show that happens every summer. During the school year, we have not one, but we have 2 elementary school programs, a choir, one voice, and a school year acting class for elementary school students. We have a middle school acting class for students called Acting Up. Both of the teachers are sitting right there. Thank you guys for being here. And we have a new high school program. We started this year, very excited about continuing it. We call it Winter Rep, and it's an intensive actor training. We also have our first ever, we started recently our first ever adult program. And we, the committee that I chair, are always looking for more programs. So if anyone's interested, please talk to me afterwards, find out more, or just contact the theater. We want to hear about ideas, and we're always looking for new ways to expand and connect to the community. But in this our Winter Rep program, this intensive training, we had a student this year, a current Beaver Dam High School sophomore, was in the middle of a workshop, a master class with an internationally renowned Shakespearean educator. We brought this guy in, and he was fantastic. And she had one of those light bulb moments, just a great artistic breakthrough. And I don't want to say her name because I didn't ask her permission to say her name in the story. But some of you who know the actors here at the high school might know who it is when I say this thing. But she was so overwhelmed by the silliness that happened, but also the fact that there was growth and she was connecting with everybody, that she exclaimed to no one in particular, but for everyone to hear, "What witchcraft is this?" And that was maybe probably the greatest kind of light bulb moment I've ever seen with a student in 28 years of working with drama programs all over the country. But it sums up both of those instincts. We need chances to be silly and to have fun, but we also need to know who are the people in our community, how do we connect with them? We get students from the district, give them those strategies, and we very happily send them back so they can come back to us again. And we couldn't enjoy that anymore. A couple days after that happened, I took off my BDUSD hat, I was wearing my parent hat, and I was sitting in a parent-teacher conference at the middle school. And the first thing my son's ELA teacher said was, "Hey, you're involved in education at BDUSD. Talk to me." And all of a sudden I had to put my BDUSD hat back in, which was such a reminder of how intertwined we are with the community. And no organization is more important in any community, as you know, I'm preaching to the choir here, than a school board or the school district, right? And we are days away at BDUSD from hosting this year's Beaver Dam Middle School play. The overlap that we do, I could stand up for another 20 minutes, relax you, I won't, but happens all the time. Greg shows up at our place, we're coming over here, it happens. And we are so excited that the intertwining happens. The BDUSD teachers, we know, are doing an amazing job because of what the students have when they come to us. Even though we're here at the 2025 induction ceremony in April of '26, I still think the teachers here are doing a good job. But I want to end with this. When I first got to town about 4 years ago, and I hooked up with the theater, I said, I have a degree in theater ed, I've trained teachers all over the country, and they said, oh, work with this program and do an interview about it on the radio, and I met Craig over here. And he asked me about what students get in terms of who they will become later by having the kinds of programs that we offer. And our conversation for the rest of that program was great, not because we talked about who the students would become, but because of the opportunities they needed right now and how urgent they are to have those experiences. And I could not be prouder of being a part of BDACT and being a part of this community. I've only been here 4 years, but I love this community. And thank you, David, for leading all the great things that we do. And with that, I'll stop and get out of the way. Is that which way to go, Craig? Let's go.
David and all the members of the BDACT family, the Beaver Dam Area Community Theater enhances and enriches the educational experiences for our kids and is such a shining light for our entire community, a unique niche that we have in a community the size that we have, in an agrarian-rooted community like ours. To have a theater, to have the programming is a very special thing that adds significant value. And for that, we thank you, and for that, you are forever considered a friend. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Once again, David Sineater, the business director with the Beaver Dam Area Community Theater, and also a big thanks to Enda for his work, the chair of the Performing Arts Education Committee, Enda Braden. That brings us to the outstanding alumni portion of our program. Our next presenter once personally helped me figure out the proper way to pronounce the name of two of our former presidents, Theodore Roosevelt and Franklin D. Roosevelt. He was kind enough to take some time out of his day to explain to me the various nuances, the regional dialects, and the historical context behind the names, the surnames for Teddy Roosevelt and Franklin Roosevelt. I still have no idea which one's which, to tell you the truth, but maybe our next presenter could come up and set me right. I thoroughly enjoyed every insightful conversation I've ever had with the good fortune to have with him. And as we welcome to the stage, I'd ask you to put your hands together and welcome longtime retired, let me start that one again. Longtime FFA director who is now retired. Not longtime retired, recently retired. Anyway, it's David Lotch. Please welcome him to the stage.
And it's been so long, Craig, that I remember when you had a ponytail, even though I called it a cowtail. But anyways, it is really indeed my pleasure to introduce our outstanding alumnus for the Beaver Dam Wall of Fame. I believe in leadership from ourselves and respect from others. I believe that I can exert an influence on my home and community that will stand solid for my part in that inspiring task. I know there's 3 people in the back of the room who are saying, yep, I know those words. Those are the immortal words of the FFA Creed, written nearly 100 years ago, and have inspired Russell Kotke to be the leader and contributor to our community that he is today. Once I asked Russ, what got you to be so involved in government and our community? He responded, Mr. Meinke, my FFA advisor always told us that we need to get involved and be a leader in our community. Russ certainly took those words to heart. Dodge County Board Supervisors, Chairman, Town of Trenton Board of Supervisors, and Chair, Beaver Dam Agribusiness Association President and Treasurer. He doesn't even remember that he was president, but it was in the paper. And I have the, oh, there it is, okay. And Dodge County Dairy Promotion Committee, Oakwood Cemetery Board Secretary Treasurer. He's a heck of a good friend, and because he's been associated with Oakwood Cemetery, he's the last to let you down. He's been on the Flyway Mutual Insurance Company Board of Directors, the Fox Lake Community Fire Association Secretary Treasurer, and somehow he still found time to milk cows. Any high school agriculture teacher would have immediately recognized Russ was a true farm kid. His life surrounded the daily work and the seasons of the farm. His sister Ilis graduated from high school by the time Russ entered Trenton Elementary School. So the farm chores were Russ's responsibility. That didn't leave a lot of time for a lot of other school activities. He was shy and reserved. His high school yearbook states that his only activity in high school was FFA 2, 3, and 4. Though his sister graduated from Fox Lake High School, when the school district lines were actually drawn, Russ's parents insisted that their farm be included in Beaver Dam Unified School District so that Russ could go to Beaver Dam. That's why Russ's farm is the farthest north piece of property in the Beaver Dam School District. And when he graduated, in his yearbook, his fellow student wrote, in the Beaver log, he wrote 2 cocks. I'm not exactly sure what cocks meant, but that, I assume, was his nickname. You are a very nice kid. Good luck in the future. And when he graduated from high school, he was going to be a farmer. As I understand it, his classmates voted him to be the most likely to sack seed. But life took an abrupt change for Russ when his dad passed away. Russ became the head of the house and manager of the farm. He might have been satisfied with taking care of his Jersey cows, but as we know, Russ is committed to his community. By the way, County Highway W was transferred back to the town of Trenton, and it was Russ's suggestion to call it Jersey Road. As busy as he was on the farm, he always found time to help anyone in need. Whether it was somebody that needed some hay baled, or, thank you, Russ, when the hay baler broke, and he would show up and make sure that the hay got baled, okay? And he would be found leaving the farm early in the morning to go somewhere to scramble eggs for a dairy brunch or for the something special from Wisconsin breakfast, which, by the way, is going to be May 3rd, Sunday, right here. And if you need tickets, talk to Russ. He's got some extras along with him. So a shameless plug right there. Okay. And his association with the Agribusiness Association has provided hundreds of FFA members with scholarships to attend leadership conferences, workshops, and to go on to college and technical school. His honorary chapter degree is well-deserved. When there's a need for a judge for a 4-H event or for the County Fairest of the Fair contest, you can count on Russ. Every 4-H member is proud to know that Russ is a friend of 4-H. Alan Stroshine visited with Judge Dan Klossner just before he passed away. He asked Judge Klossner about Russ Kotke. Though the judge was unable to write a letter for his nomination, he wanted to make sure that everyone knew that no one ever said a bad word about Russ Kotke as chairman of the county board. Russ Kotke has certainly exerted an influence on his home and community, and that will stand solid for his part in that inspiring task. Congratulations, Russ.
Russ, you were one of a handful of people that I was required to get to know, or at least learn about, early when I started my career in Beaver Dam. And we spent time sitting at a table, waiting for our time to speak at economic luncheons. I've seen you flip many a pancake before, and otherwise be around so many wonderful events on behalf of our kids. And as an outstanding alumnus, you saw obviously with the FFA emblem and the reflection of service around that. You've also been just a wonderful example of leadership and how steady and reflective you are and how caring you are for everybody in your community, and we thank you for that. And the Wall of Fame Committee and the Beaver Dam Unified School District recognizes you as an outstanding alumnus and a wonderful example for future generations. So thank you and congratulations, Russ.
Thank you very much. You know, I don't know what to say. I kind of lost for words, but it's very rewarding to get this award, and something I never expected in my life. I didn't do the things I did for an award. That's not my style, to get an award. And, you know, I got to thank many people that are in here that helped. And I did not have John Mersch as an ag teacher, but we were at the high school at the same time. He was teaching, helping Fred Meinke out at that time. It was a great experience. And we talked the other day, John and I talked about some old times that we had at the high school when I was a senior and he was teaching that year. So it's just been wonderful. And I just thank God every day that I'm able to do what I am, and I just totally enjoy it. And sometimes I think, you know, what would my dad have said if seeing what I'm doing today? You know, he passed away at a young age, and you know, I was only 25 years old at the time, and so I kind of grew into everything that I did. And you know, it's I guess a little bit of you know, one of my grandfathers was on the town board of the town of Beaver Dam years ago in 1929, I was 30, right in there in the Depression times, and they said that he always talked that how people would come to the house and want to be election workers. And today we can't hardly find election workers to work at the polls. And them days they got $3 a day in Depression times, and they thought that was really great. You know, and they were begging for the job from one election to the next. And I know Karen Gibson is here, and she realizes what we have to pay today for election workers and what, you know, at them times were. And it's just been great. And I thank everyone that wrote letters for me. And I'm so thankful I could have my sister here tonight with me, and my brother-in-law is in the home. But you know, I'm so glad she's here and to enjoy this with me. So thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Russ, and congratulations to you, an honor certainly that is well deserved. And again, as somebody who has kids who graduated from this district, it is an honor for me to know that they stand alongside graduates of this school like yourself. And with that brings us to the closing portion of our program today. I want to take a moment to reflect on what we've witnessed and thank everyone who helped make it possible. First, to our honorees, Gary Spielman, the Beaver Dam Area Community Theater, and of course, outstanding alumnus Russ Kotke. The impact you've had on this community, on its schools, and on the people who call Beaver Dam home is lasting and meaningful. Today is a celebration, but it's also a reminder of just how much one person or one organization can contribute over time. I also want to thank our presenters, Bev Beelake, Marge Jorgensen, David Lotch. Each of you brought a personal perspective and genuine appreciation for the individuals and organizations you introduced. That's what made this afternoon feel special. It's not just a ceremony, but it's a meaningful recognition of people who truly, truly deserve it. The reception earlier today, there was some excellent food. It was very delicious, clearly very well enjoyed by everyone. A thank you to Taher Food Service and to those who took the time to nominate this year's honorees. Thank you. These recognitions don't happen without people who are willing to step forward and say, this person matters, this work matters. I would encourage everyone here in the auditorium, anyone that is watching this on video later, to consider nominating someone in the future for a Friend of Education or Outstanding Alumni Award. At this time, I'd also like to recognize the members of the Wall of Fame Committee. This group does incredible work, an incredible amount of work behind the scenes here today, reviewing nominations, organizing this event, and making sure that these stories are told and that these legacies are preserved. If you are here this afternoon, please stand to be recognized as I call your name. John Casper, Glenn Link. There's Glenn. Hey, Glenn. Cindy Noe. Is Cindy here? Hey, Cindy. Mark DiStefano. Also our awards presenter this evening. Thank you, Mark. Bev Beelake. And Marge Jorgensen. Thank you for your time, your dedication, and your commitment to honoring the people who make this school district and this community what it is. Quite simply, this event doesn't happen without you. Before we conclude, just a quick reminder that photographs are going to be taken at the Wall of Fame display outside of the auditorium. We encourage everyone to stop by, take a look, and continue celebrating these well-deserved honorees. Thank you for being here today and for being part of a school district and a community that values service, leadership, and connection. I hope everybody has a great rest of their day. Thank you.